So there's this whole thing about sovereignty and the people and the governments. Um, Yet, the point is that in the United States of America, the people, the country of the United States of America, the people are sovereign. And then in comparison to the other enslaved worlds, or the other enslaved people's worlds, where their government is sovereign, and those in the real world people, yet in their world, they're persons, because only people have rights, and persons don't have rights. Only sovereigns have the rights, and people and persons don't have rights because they're not sovereign, unless you are in the country of the United States of America, where the people are sovereign. The question is, when do people become persons, and when do persons become sovereigns or people? And that gets bypassed a lot, because the sovereigns of the country of the United States of America, they contract themselves to whatever, they contract themselves out of being sovereign to follow something else that acts as sovereign, because the United States of America government is not sovereign. The people are sovereign. And so that is something that needs to be addressed in everywhere, especially in the United States of America, where the people are sovereign. And the question is, when do they stop being sovereign and become persons? Well, it's through the contract. Now, the United States of America, the country of the United States of America, respects the people. The District of Columbia does not respect the people. It only cares about turning people into persons, because in the District of Columbia, the government, just like any of the other enslaved worlds, the other enslaved people's worlds, the government is the sovereign. And so, what would the world look like if sovereigns were able to rule themselves? So that means, in the country of the United States of America, that means you don't have to get you don't need a license. You don't have to go pay for a license and pay them to rent your car to you. That means you get to travel however you want to. If that means on wheels, in whatever way, shape, and form that comes in, then yeah, that means you get to do that. And no one can stop you. No one can stop you, because you're sovereign, until you contract yourself out to allowing those codes and statutes from the District of Columbia to be laws that you follow. You're sovereign, and you can do whatever you want. Now, it's the whole, well, there would be anarchy if we had the sovereigns rule the world and we wouldn't have any law. No, that's not true. That would mean people would be respected more. That means those mediators, the pigs, person in government with those guns, wouldn't be able to do anything to you. So that means they wouldn't be able to stop you. They wouldn't be able to human traffic you. because that's what it is. Unless you contract to be given your sovereign power away, then it is human trafficking. So you really need to ask yourself and answer it for yourself. If you are sovereign, then that means you don't need to be paying taxes, because only businesses pay taxes. And if you think you have to pay taxes, then you're a business. Then that means you're a person under the District of Columbia, the corporation of the United States of America. Yet that is what sovereignty is. In the United States of America, that is what sovereignty is. So that means, as a sovereign, that means I can go into a store and get whatever I want because it's mine. You're on my country. I am the ruler. If you want to go to a place where that does not happen, then you need to go back to the District of Columbia, because those codes and statutes don't apply to sovereigns. And yet, those persons of the District of Columbia want all the people, all the sovereigns, to not be sovereign, because then they wouldn't be in control, and you would have, I don't want to say anarchy, you would have real life. The real life of how it's supposed to be. Because people know inherently what's right. They know that what's right. It's a person that does bad things. It's a person that made that atom bomb. It wasn't people. It was a person. A person that, yeah, they were compartmentalized to the degree of not knowing what they were doing. Because if the people knew what they were doing, none of that would happen. None of that backwards world of economics warfare would be acceptable. Yet, this video is there to get you to think about when do people become persons, and when do persons become people? Because people have freedom. They're sovereign. So those codes and statutes don't apply to them unless they're contracted to be a person. Then they gave their sovereignty to something else. They basically contempted in the court system. In the actual United States of America court system, the people contempted to make the country, to make that corporation something powerful. If the people did not contempt, then they would not be a terrorist, and none of this would happen. None. No wars would happen. Only persons do war. People don't. Well, have a great one. And Virgo Triad, that's a question for you too, that you need to answer, because you seem not to want to answer that, or even acknowledge that that's something. You want to jump straight away from common law that you say is the kangaroo courts, and go right to amatory law, maritime law, the law of the sea. Well, have a great one.